Hi everyone, welcome back to the Kitaholic Kits YouTube channel, and this is my third project from Kitaholic Kits. I am going to scraplift Louise, my fellow design team member, for this particular layout because that was one of the challenges that Steph gave us for this month, was to do a scrap lift. Now, Louise used all of that beautiful black paper to mat all of her strips and her photos on, and I didn't have any black paper in my stash, so I'm creating my own. I just took some cheap cardstock that's not very dear to my heart, and I'm taking this black paint which is very matte, and I am just painting this paper and then setting it aside to dry, and that'll be my black paper. Yeah, you can always use black paper or use paint to create paper in the color that you want if you do not have one, but obviously there's a bit of a wait time to wait for it to dry, and it's messy. But now moving on to the fun part. So what Louise had done is she did a 12 by 12. I'm doing a 9 by 12, but she cut down these strips of papers that she really liked from that kit, which I think was from Cocoa Vanilla, and I am doing the same. So I chose papers that I thought matched the photos as well as the photo, as well as like papers that had different like more detailed patterns on it, and then less detailed and more intricate and so forth. Anyway, so that's a long way of saying that I chose papers that I thought would go well together. I did cut them a little bit short, or so not short, they were just not wide enough to actually fit 4 on the page, which is what Louise did. So you'll see that I added a pink paper as well, and I'm actually going for 5 rather than 4. So that's a little bit of a difference. So I think that they are about 1.5 to maybe 2 inches wide. I don't actually remember, sorry, I did this a while ago. But yeah, then I'm going and I'm matting it on the black, keeping a nice thin little border. And oh my goodness, this is striking. That's the reason why I chose this particular layout to scrap lift, because just the black line behind these papers they look amazing. And yeah, I just really love them. And then what I particularly liked is how she matted the photo. So she matted the photo on black, which is what I'm doing now, cut it out, then put it on top of a pattern paper. So I'm using that little scripty one, and then cut it out again, and then matted it again on the black, which gave just this awesome, just look at that. It looks so striking, and I'm definitely going to do that again. I absolutely love how that turned out. I just need to go buy some black cardstock. Now I am sticking down the actual strips. I have to finagle them a bit so that they look right, but once they are down, I am happy with how they look. Now, I do unfortunately lose a little bit of footage towards the end, which was a bummer. I have no idea what happened to it. But I pulled a doily from my stash. Who doesn't have 10,000 doilies in their stash? And I'm going to stick the photo onto the doily and then stick the doily onto the page. The great thing about scrap lifting is that it takes a lot of the thinking out of the layout. I didn't have to think about placement. I didn't have to think about embellishment clusters. That was already done for me. Now, I did have to navigate the change of the size. So obviously, because Louise worked in 12 by 12, I couldn't do exactly the same, but all I really did was use a smaller doily. Then I'm doing these little clusters. So I'll show you how I do the one, and then unfortunately I lose the footage of doing the other ones, but it's pretty much the same process. In Louise's layout, she used the houses down that came in that particular kit from Cocoa Vanilla. There were these houses, and she used them on the bottom strip. I was wondering, I wanted to use the houses as well, because obviously there were those little die cut houses that came in this kit, but I didn't have enough of them, or the sizing wasn't exactly right. So I opted to include butterflies, because there was a lot of butterflies, and I find it hard to use butterflies in layout sometimes. So I thought this is the perfect time where I can just mimic that. And I also added some butterflies at the top, which you can see there. I am adding some little plus signs using my Sharpie just to bring that black in a little bit more. Not like it was really needed, but you know, I do this a lot. And I'm also going to add some Nouveau drops, which inevitably I will smudge. And I did, but just not on camera, thankfully, after I took all the photos. I am going to add a date in the bottom right-hand corner, and then this layout will be done. I love this. It is probably my favorite layout that I did this month. And then the sad thing is it's not even mine. You know, I didn't take, I didn't come up with the idea for it, but you know, I really loved it. I really thought it was an awesome layout, and I'm really glad that Louise did it. And I will probably scrap lift it again in the future. But yeah, I recommend everyone to try this layout because it is amazing. And then I would love to see how other people make it their own as well. There's my little daughter's hand, sorry. She was giving me flowers. Yeah, anyway, I will see you all next week. Have a lovely week and happy scrapping. Bye.